You've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
Cool Geeks Tribunal, eternal, forever.
Don't you wish you were a Superman?
Yep, what's going on, y'all? Cool Geeks Tribunal back, full effect, cups all the way up. Yeah. So let's shout out the Blue Man, Kang the Conqueror. We see him in the trailer for Ant-Man. He seems like he's raising the stakes. It's up. It's all the way up. Is he going to be more menacing and trouble than Thanos? Is that even possible? If he is, how they going to be able to handle that? Who is he? Is this another example of Marvel going deep into their bag and pulling out a character that's not well known and making him a household name? They've done it with Guardians of the Galaxy. They've done it with, Thanos once again. They've done it with Hawkeye and, just guys like that, we didn't always know. They weren't just Spider-Man. They not Wolverine, who everybody's waiting for. They're not the Incredible Hulk, Captain America, Thor, all of those guys. It's a very cool thing. Growing up reading these books, never thought I would see Ego, Kang, Thanos, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax, Gamora, Star-Lord, everybody loves Groot. I am Groot. Like, everybody knows what that is. Now, like, I am Groot is almost like, just do it for Nike now. He's become so popular. He's all over the place. So I figure let's chop it up on him. Let's bring it out. Do the knowledge on Kang, the Blue Man. What's that about? Is there something to that? Etymologically speaking, blue was at one time very synonymous with the so-called black man. So is that a reason why they've casted Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, also known as Nathaniel Richards? El, in the Hebrew God, we know Kang has a lot of power, because if you're going to control multiple universes or even attempt to, the TVA, as we saw in the Loki series, you got to have power. If you're going back like they showed in the comic book when he first debuted, he went all the way back, and before he was blue, he was white, and but he was a pharaoh, Amun Tut. Now, if he's a pharaoh, we know, unlike what they show with Russell Crowe as an ancient Egyptian in Noah, or Christian Bale in all these movies, all the way back to Charlton Heston in the Ten Commandments, we know that the ancient Egyptians, the original ancient Egyptians, they were so-called black, along with everybody else that was around them at that time. And there's a lot of mixing and mingling and everything going on. So, being that in the comic book, he was first debuted as a white man, even though he built a Sphinx time machine and went back in time to conquer that time, and went head to head with the Fantastic Four. And like I said, his name is Nathaniel Richards, so he has a connection to Reed Richards, and also may have a connection biologically to Dr. Doom. And we know the contentious history between those two highly intellectual guys that don't get along. What is the motivation and the power? What is the connection? Possibly, is there any connection to the fact that Kang now, he has a blue face, and this is who was casted? Because they could have went with casting, as Hollywood has casted other people. So I kind of want to look into that and other castings and things and takes on Blue and things surrounding the history of it. And there is a history when you look up the etymology and the definition of Blue Man, BLEWMAN, and how it transitioned into BLUE. Is there really a connection with that? And also, of course, just the comic book / cinematic take on what we've been shown. Now, last time we saw him in Loki, that series, causing problems for Loki, his variant, Sylvie, putting them at odds. Not sure why Loki, as strong and menacing as he was in the comic books and as he started out when he started giving problems to the Avengers, has sort of, the character seems to me has softened considerably and is not as strong and menacing as he was when he first came on the scene in 2011 in Thor Part 1 and then in Avengers Part 1. Now Thanos smacking him around like it's nothing. The Kang, giving him problems and everything. So now we see in the trailer for the Quantumania with Ant-Man, he seems to be causing a lot of problems because the energy that seems to be coming off of Ant-Man is not the energy that we're accustomed to. It seems to be really serious. With Ant-Man, with Paul Rudd, shout out to him, has always been funny and it's just been very light. It's one of the lighter MCU movies, just a lot of jokes. Now, I know the MCU likes to do a lot of jokes now, but Paul Rudd's it fit. It made sense. It wasn't like what we saw with Thor Love and Thunder again. Like, that was just too much. It was just being extra over the top and unnecessary. And it doesn't really fit Thor. Not according to what, has always been written comic book wise. So, Kang from the 31st century, going back into the past to our present and even further in the past with the intent to control time and stretching over multiple universes and controlling all of his own variants, being Kang Prime, does that put him head to head and battling against the living tribunal who presides over the multiple universes? Where is this movie going to go? If we're going to get Avengers Kang Dynasty, does he need to go up against the Fantastic Four cinematically first? We got the Fantastic Four, or at least Reed Richards in the Multiverse of Madness in one of those variants. How does that all link up? Where is this ultimately going to go? It definitely seems to be up right now. That's the vibe that we're getting, but Kang is a human. Thanos was a Titan. So how does he raise the stakes and cause so much trouble for potentially the Fantastic Four, potentially Doctor Doom, should he come out? And definitely we know the Avengers is going to be a thing. So how does he do that? So it's going to be interesting to see where Marvel takes this. Other things where you have the whole connection to Blue. So now in other forms of cinema, let's talk about Avatar real quick. So Avatar is a huge movie. It's a big deal right now, like killing the box office, slaying everything, like the original did.
Hands in, head down. Down. Just relax and let your mind go blank. It shouldn't be hard for you.
Guess the darkest part of my little life.
Initiate like
Run sequence unit 3, go.
Launching. I have the first congruency.
But people have always made the connection that the whole coagula situation where you're taking the mind and controlling these people that are blue in their utopia, aboriginal, indigenous to a land, Pandora, they're getting in there, controlling it. You have resources, land, all sorts of nature and everything, and now they're kind of basically invading it. We saw Get Out, the whole thing of the mind switch, the whole coagular system and all that.
Behold, the coagula.
These things are very interesting because it seems to be a consistent theme cinematically across, even if the movies and the studios aren't connected to each other, there just seems to be a consistent theme. Is there something to it? I would encourage people to look up the etymology of the word blue and see how it is connected to so-called black people. Also, when you should definitely check out Chronicles of Judah on Patreon. Check that page out because it's an excellent breakdown of that. Also, what happened with Kang in the comics, on the same topic of being blue, he ran into another blue guy from ancient Egypt, that was worshipped as a god, the original mutant. And it's another way to bring in the mutants along with what is up with this whole blue thing and people that were originally considered so-called black. He's worshipped as a god, Apocalypse, their first mutant. We saw the way he was depicted in the Fox iteration of those Fox X-Men movies, and he's all blue. Is there something to that? Could be. I think it's definitely worth investigating. I think it's a very interesting take that may give you a little bit deeper insight into the movie, the character, into just history, period. I know we're talking comics, but they are drawing the inspiration from somewhere for the castings, for the writing. With Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, what made them want to go into this character? What made them want to not Stan Lee, of course, but what made the casting directors want to deviate from the way he was originally depicted when he showed up as Almond Tut? To now we have Jonathan Majors playing him. So I think all of this stuff is really, really interesting, and where Marvel is going to go with this character, and it keeps it fresh. I'll definitely say that. The fact that they do not just regurgitate, well, I mean, they do somewhat with, their heroes, but just to pull out different characters, it definitely keeps it fresh. So hopefully it is definitely a fresh take. It is definitely another way to bring the mutants in, because if they connect them to Apocalypse, and we already saw with Black Panther 2 the connection with Submariner or Namor and him acknowledging being a mutant. We've seen through WandaVision, her children, her actually being a mutant herself, being Magneto's daughter. The mutants are around. How much longer do we have to wait until Wolverine comes on the scene cinematically? And beyond, the talk of it being Hugh Jackman again, how are they really, really going to work this in? Are we going to bring back, we had Patrick Stewart as Professor X in the Multiverse of Madness. So are we bringing back all of the Fox characters, the Fox cast, to play in the X-Men, even in WandaVision? We had the guy that played Pietro Maximoff from the Fox series, reprised his role as Quicksilver. So maybe they're just going to bring back all of the Fox people and then just throw them in the MCU now. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. I'm definitely curious. Giving y'all a little bit of homework on the Blue Man. So y'all let me know once you check it out, whether it be through checking out Chronicles of Judas page. Also, Hidden Ones, that's another YouTube page that's really good. You should definitely check out, with some history right there that you may or may not know. I'm betting that most people don't. So you'll learn something over there as well. And just know, they're getting their inspiration from someplace. And it may not always be as obvious and, you know, just readily accessible to what we've been accustomed to knowing of people, the universe, and, you know, what are the strange and unique ways that art does imitate life, even aspects of life that we may have not grown up with or learned in our history books. But there's more to the story. And where does it take us in the future with Kang and just as people in real life? So anyway, leave it in the comments what you find out, what you think, and what you're excited for. What, you know, what's this all about? Where are we going with this in our movies? Peace.
Say your love before they die. Within us all live a Superman. Within our souls to survive. Don't you wish you were a Superman? Or don't you wish you were a Superman?